Internet. Welcome to Why Am I Watching This? My name is Kyle Mustaine. This week's movie is The Gathering, starring Peter Gallagher from The OC, American Beauty, and the dude who was sleeping in While You Were Sleeping, Jamie Lynn Sigler from The Sopranos, and Peter Fonda from Easy Rider, Ulee's Gold, and The Limey, one of my favorite movies. Before I get to the review, let's do a little housework. First off, thank you for all the feedback. This has been amazing so far. Even the constructive criticism has really helped. Is it clear that I'm only doing Lifetime original movies? It doesn't really say it anywhere in the opening or anything, but so far all of the movies I've done have just been Lifetime movies. And I want to stick with just this one genre because I think that keeps the project very focused. Maybe further down the line I'll start doing some other, straight to Netflix or DVD type movies too, just for fun. But right now, really want to just stay honed in on Lifetime original movies, and there's plenty to mine out of that phenomena. I'm gonna start looking into ways to promote the show more, little by little. I think right now it's mostly my friends and family who are watching. But that's still great. Keep sharing the links, guys. Everybody's been awesome. I was going to get a Twitter for the show, but the title is so long that my tweets would end up being like 2 characters. So you can just follow me, which is at Kyle Mustaine. Very simple. I don't tweet that much, so you might have to tweet at me to get me started. And just let me know what you think of the show. Ideally, I would like to cut down the opening credits. It's about 45 seconds at the present state. But I did all of that overnight just to have opening credits to kind of give you an introduction to what the show is supposed to be about. But I would love it if someone would make me a graphic or something. I don't do graphic design, but I would love to have a brand new opening. If someone wanted to write me a theme song, that would blow my mind. But right now, I'm doing all of this by myself, and for right now, the show is what it is, and it's what I have time to do, and it's what I have resources for, and I'm working on it. But okay, let's get to the review. Peter Gallagher plays Michael Foster, a New York City emergency room doctor whose wife goes missing. As he follows the clues to her disappearance, he unravels a plot that goes deep into the New York City aristocracy and involves campaign contributions by way of witchcraft. I know, right? Timely political commentary and the supernatural. There's no way this movie cannot rule. Jamie Lynn Sigler plays a teacher at the Foster's daughter's ultra-rich private school. Ms. Rule teaches comparative religion, so therefore knows a thing or two about Wicca.
Wicca? That's witchcraft, right?
Many belief systems include supernatural and magical powers in their practice. Spell castings, incantations, rituals at gatherings called covens.
So you're saying my wife is a witch? And Evan Holter? He's one too?
Foster's wife disappeared at the same time as another teacher at their daughter's private school. At first, he thought maybe they were having an affair, but Ms. Rule explains that there was something more sinister at play. Then he gets in touch with the other teacher's mother.
What happened last night?
Don't you know?
No, that's why I'm here.
When Evan didn't come home, I looked through his room. I found this. It's from her, isn't it?
What is this?
And then she gets killed by a crow. How does a crow kill a person, you ask? I don't know. And the filmmakers don't seem to know either. Because we're just shown a bunch of close-ups of the crow squawking and Mrs. Halter screaming.
Shoot!
Then she's a body on a gurney. Oh, and why was Michael at the crime scene immediately after she died? Did someone call him? Did he just happen to be stopping by to pay a visit? In all of New York City, which is a massive, massive metropolis, this uppity, rich doctor just happens by the scene of the murder of an elderly superintendent who he just met 24 hours before. Just wait. Dr. Foster will continue to show up in places he realistically should not be. Okay, remember before I said Dr. Foster's wife disappeared at the same time as another teacher at the private school? In this sequence, when Dr. Foster goes to his wife and daughter's school to do some digging, the filmmakers go out of their way to repeat the name Evan Halter for us.
Can you tell me where Evan Holter's room is?
It's just down there on the right.
There's 1, 2, 3, number 4, number 5. A pamphlet on yoga for witches and warlocks.
Have you heard from Anne? You're Elizabeth's father, right?
I am, yes.
Yeah, that's not obvious.
Who are you?
I'm Maggie Rule. I'm one of her teachers.
Normally this should cue the viewer that this Evan Halter character is going to be a major figure in the film, but no. He barely comes up again. He's just some throwaway character who dies like a punk later on in the movie. Peter Fonda plays the main villain, the Patriarch of the Carriers, a family of rich snobs who are using a coven of witches to enforce their stranglehold on New York politics. Side note, if they ever do get around to making another He-Man movie, I'm throwing Peter Fonda's name into the hat for the role of Skeletor, just because there would be no makeup required. Remember my review of Sex and the Single Mom? My favorite character in that movie was played by Maria Ricasa, who plays the mayoral candidate that the rich and powerful Carrier family is trying to buy out.
It's fine. You know, I actually want you to be mayor, Mom.
Alright, doesn't mean you get to meet Paris Hilton.
Yes, it is.
Wow, this is like a Lifetime All-Star movie. Listen to this scene again. The first time I saw it, I totally thought she was saying, it doesn't mean you get to be Paris Hilton.
You know, I actually want you to be mayor, Mom.
Alright, doesn't mean you get to meet Paris Hilton.
That's why I'm growing my hair out. One thing this movie tries to do is mess with you and make you think that any of the peripheral characters could be in on the witchcraft conspiracy. And that could have been fun. You know, playing a bunch of red herrings, little twists throughout the movie, revealing that characters that you thought were in on the conspiracy actually were not. But no. Anyone that you suspect of being a witch in this movie turns out to be a fucking witch. Kyle, bored! Arrgh! Foster's daughter, Z, starts experimenting with such popular rich white girl trends as chewing tobacco.
Is that pot?
You chew it.
It's chaw.
It makes biology bearable.
Light plagiarism.
Cut and paste it. We can't cut and paste, Sarah. That's plagiarism.
And oh yeah, turning herself into a crow. The cop investigating Mrs. Foster's disappearance just so happens to know all about the witchcraft conspiracy and introduces Michael to his merry little band of people whose loved ones have been kidnapped or blackmailed or hypnotized or somehow forced to perform black magic by the Carrier family. Hey, let's have all our meetings in the most unsanitary places we can find. Next week, we're meeting at the alley behind a porno theater. At one point, Thomas Carrier explains that the battle between good and evil goes back 2,000 years.
This is a battle they started over 2,000 years ago. They put their faith in a god that doesn't exist. They made monsters of your ancestors. Those have the blood, the truly powerful.
How did I know they were going to tie this into some Christianity bullshit? That's such a cop-out. So the rich people in this movie are evil because they're biblically evil. Why can't they just be evil because they're greedy fucking psychopaths? Periodically, the movie employs the technique of playing radio broadcasts that feed us exposition of information we do not get to see unfold on screen.
Barrel race, which until now seemed little more than a victory lap for incumbent Russell Moore, looks poised to become a serious contest as news leaked of a surprise move of support by real estate mogul Thomas Carrier.
It's too bad the filmmakers were too lazy to integrate all of that information into the images that appear on screen. Instead, they skip all of the political intrigue and give us what's really important. Peter Gallagher penning news articles to a bulletin board. Now you know he's really serious. And generally wandering around looking confused, as I'm sure everyone who read the script was. One of Z's friends, Tony, gets turned into a human bomb with some kind of box full of enchanted tchotchkes and is used to blow up a bus. Why? It's not really clear what the motive of blowing up a practically empty bus in the middle of New York City was, other than to kill off a character so that they could place all the other characters at a decadent funeral.
Why haven't you returned my calls?
Please, Tommy, this is not the right place.
This is crazy. I love you.
Please.
Oh, and probably to have a big explosion at the end of the first part of the miniseries. Yes, this is a miniseries, a two-part miniseries. Why? Probably because there was no way they could assemble all of the footage and have it make sense in a normal TV movie portion. It barely makes sense as a 3-hour miniseries. Here is Dr. Foster at the mayor candidate's rally where a possessed homeless guy opens fire and shoots her son. Not my son! He wanted to be Paris Hilton! Now, why was Dr. Foster even at this rally in the first place? By this point in the movie, he hadn't even met the candidate, and he was only vaguely aware that the Carriers were using witchcraft to pull strings in local politics. But how did he know there was going to be an assassination attempt at this rally in particular? She's running for mayor of New York. She probably has 5 of these things a day. So what the fuck is he doing there? It's just like when he found Mrs. Halter dead at her apartment building. How does he keep showing up at these things? Here is Dr. Foster happening by the JFK assassination. Here he is at the crucifixion. Here he is at the Big Bang. Anyway, the Gathering gets a couple of Hermiones, whatever. Kyle, bored! Arrgh!